It's Eric Nagel at San Diego Comic-Con.
Back on the floor of San Diego Comic-Con 2015, my name is Eric Nagel. We're broadcasting from the NECA Toy Pavilion here on the floor of the San Diego Convention Center. We do have to thank those guys for giving us the space to do this. Coming up next on the program is Ron Perlman. Last time Ron was on this channel, he was promoting his book Easy Street, The Hard Way, a book by Ron Perlman, with the foreword by Guillermo del Toro. Definitely should go check that out if you haven't already. It's a good read. But of course you know Ron from projects like Hellboy, maybe Beauty and the Beast, maybe a little movie called Pacific Rim. This gentleman is just as intense in his acting roles as he is in real life. I got a chance to sit down with him and talk to him about his brand new show, Hand of God, and I was terrified. So let's go and talk to Ron Perlman.
It's Eric Nagel at San Diego Comic-Con.
I'm here with Ron Perlman, and the last time we got to see you and hear from you was for your book, Easy Street. And now you're here with a brand new project for Amazon. It's not even Prime, it's just instant video. So if you don't have Prime, you can just get it right off instant video for Hand of God.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was Prime.
I thought so too, but I did some research, and you don't need to have the Prime in order to... you can just order it right off Amazon. You can stream it any way you can stream Amazon Instant Video. So if you don't have the Prime subscription, you should get it. But if you don't, you can still have access to it and watch Hand of God.
That's great news.
Hand of God is...
You want to buy my Prime subscription? I'll sell it to you $50.
Hand of God from... The pilot is available right now, and the show should be coming out in the early fall. You're a judge who was kind of corrupt, and now you think that God has touched you, and you're now doing God's work by some vigilante justice.
Well, you skipped a couple of beats in there. I mean, you know, the thing that brings me to God is I've just had this blow to my gut that is cataclysmic, and that's something that, for the first time in this guy's life, he doesn't have the resources to deal with, and so he is finally put in a position where he has to consider things he may never have considered before. Just so happens he gets lured into this fledgling little church by this preacher who at one point was a soap opera actor. So you can do the math and find out, you know, how savory this thing is. But our hero is in such a vulnerable state that he buys into it. And he gets baptized in his first visit there and leaves them with a $50,000 endowment. So they're going, we got to keep this guy fucked up, because the longer he needs us, the richer we get. And so this symbiotic sort of feeding off system takes place. But meanwhile, the stuff that the judge is getting out of this newly formed relationship with God is leading him to do certain things that are kind of twisted and very highly controversial, and scare the shit out of all the people who know and love and live off of him. And pretty much everyone in town lives off of him. I mean, he is the focal point. He is the straw that stirs the drink. Pretty much every street in San Vicente is either named after his grandfather or his great-grandfather. So he's the dude.
He's very well connected and very well embedded in the city. So once your character has this moment and starts becoming a vigilante and taking things into his own hands, is he still working within the law and also outside of the law at the same time?
Oh no, he's completely gone rogue. He's living a virtual reality in his life that he's not practicing in his professional life. As a judge, he probably still operates the way he always operated. But then again, there was a lot of his own prejudices involved in him gaining the moniker Judge Maximum. I mean, you know, he's a guy who gets who believes I'm getting scumbags off the street. I don't give a shit how I got to do it, and so he's earned that nickname. But the stuff he starts doing that kind of results from the voices are way outside the realm of law and order, way outside.
Does he have a weapon of choice?
A guy named KD, as played by the great actor Garrett Dillahunt. KD, coincidentally, is also being saved right at this moment. KD has been in and out of prison his whole life. He's a sociopath. He's a very dangerous dude, very violent dude, and he also is trying to let God in so that he can finally get a hold of the evil side of him that he wants to squelch. So they meet each other in this environment, and the judge asks him to use this very unique skill set of his in the name of God. So now he's got KD thinking that maybe it was destiny that God gave me this skill set. Maybe I was always meant to be his soldier and do the things that other guys would never ever consider doing, and not quite as well as I could do them. So they form this very symbiotic, very unholy, holy union, and shit happens.
What is his character like to play? I mean, you've played some very iconic characters in the past. I don't need to list, but for those, Hellboy, and of course, in Pacific Rim. Where does this character fare as far as your creativity that you get to put into it?
This is the big kahuna. This is the valedictory. This is a compendium of everything that I've always loved to play in a character, but a whole bunch of shit that I never had the balls to even go near, because the thing that scared me the most when I read it is I would have to go to places emotionally where I was no longer in control, where I would have to just strip myself of all control and hope and pray that I could touch those levels of sadness and depravity that that this tragedy of losing his son has touched off in him. And I've never been asked to play a guy who is as emotionally compromised and as emotionally vulnerable as the judge, and yet who in the same breath is the most powerful, charismatic guy you've ever met. So the combination of those two things is new ground for me. But the writing is such that it's done in such a classy, high-mannered way that it's worth taking the journey, because these are big issues. This is not sentimental shit. This is a man losing his heir, losing something he doesn't, all the skills in the world are never going to give him what he needs to undo this situation. And he's never been faced in a situation like this before, because he's that brilliant, and he's that powerful, and he's that smart. And this is the big equalizer. So Ben managed to find a way to take a man who has all this and fuck him over. What's the one thing that can do that? Like he said in the panel this morning, it's not global warming. It's not gay marriage. It's like, holy shit, I'm losing this thing. I didn't even know how precious he was to me until I'm losing him.
What you said there with going to some places that you were scared to never go as an actor, they give you the direction for this character, and they said they want you to go to some of these emotional states. When you're going to do that, how much freedom do you have as far as developing the character, not just how it's written, but for you to go into it, like, I think I can do it this way and I can get to this place here? Do they go, okay, you have, however you can get there is the way to do it? Or do they say they take you step by step through how to develop the character's emotional state in the process?
I think everybody just hopes and prays that we get to go home as early as possible. And that means, let's hope Ron has the solution to this, because I don't know what the fuck to tell him. I don't know how to tell him, he's losing his son and he feels horrible about that, and he's now having a moment where he is in the depths of sadness over that. So they leave me alone. and they hope and pray that I get it, and it doesn't take 48 takes for me to have the tear roll down my eye. And that's part of what the dance has been this year, is to get this thing on film, on a TV schedule, which we're kind of, you got to be moving, you know. You shoot TV way faster than you shoot movies. But you also want it to be honest and authentic and not, you know, some sort of manipulation. So it's been one of the reasons why I'm so excited to have been involved in it and also to talk about it is because it's been the biggest test I've ever had, and I wasn't sure that I was up to it. You know, I wasn't sure I was up to it because I've never had to do anything with this broader range of emotion.
This will be interesting to see, and I'm sure it's translating well because you've shot all the stuff and you've seen all the episodes, from characters where you usually have you're very badass, very sly and cocky, and usually have the great lines before something big happens, and to go into this state where everybody who knows Ron Perlman and the characters you portray, like, okay, he's intimidating, he's a larger-than-life kind of guy, and then to see these breakdowns here, I think it's going to show really well throughout the whole series here. Like, this is a whole other side of Ron Perlman that I've never seen before.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, you know, one of the things people dug about Clay Morrow on Sons of Anarchy was that he had buttons that were easily pressed, especially by Gemma, that made him, you know, all that bravado completely melt and disappear. And that's what made him human. And that's why you could play a villain like that for 6 years and still have the audience kind of on your side. It didn't take place to the degree it does with Judge Harris, but I made note of the fact that people responded to that vulnerable side of Clay, particularly how devoted he was to this woman, and how she's the only one that could get him to break down. And he did, you know, and at the end he lost everything because of her. But this one is like nonstop. This is a different kind of sorrow.
One last thing before we go here. You had referenced the panel earlier today. You said that you felt that you owed your fans, especially the ones of the Hellboy series, a proper ending to mock up a trilogy for this thing. Do you see this happening?
I don't think I would be still fighting for it unless there was a part of me that saw it happening. Don't get me wrong, I'm not encouraged. There's been nothing has happened that has encouraged me. But I know I still physically can do it, you know, even though I'm in my mid-60s. And I know that there's an amazing story out there waiting to tell. And so what's stopping us? The circumstances are the only thing that's stopping us. You know, the raising of the money and the finding time in everybody's schedule are the only thing that's stopping us. And I find those things to be rather surmountable. So as long as I still feel that way, I'm going to keep fighting for it because I think it's doable.
It's amazing, too. I mean, schedules aside, but as far as money and the interest to do it, we're in a time now where comic book superheroes have never been bigger. And, you know, everybody's greenlighting every kind of project. You would think getting the third movie done would be a no-brainer.
I mean, yeah. Those are not the things I have answers to. You know, for whatever reason, Hellboy gets made or doesn't get made, that's not up to me. All I can do is kind of be a voice for what I think is right in this situation. And I think we owe the fans a resolve to something that we asked them to invest their attention in twice. That was always meant to have a third act. We owe it to them. You know, so that's where I'm coming from. I'm not the guy that writes the check. I'm not the guy that gets, you know, 400 people to get their schedule to work right to make it happen. I'm not that guy. That's got to be, you know, somebody else has got to take over. But I'm the guy that's going to make some noise and go.
And rally for it.
You know, this is, hey, I'm down. I'm not thrilled with the idea of putting 5 hours worth of makeup on every day. But I'm down to give the fans this finale.
And speaking of finales, we are at the end of this interview here, but you're at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know if you had a chance to walk the floor or see all the merchants and the exhibits and whatnot, but if you have, great. But what is your favorite piece of merchandise involving you? Is it from Hellboy? Is it from Pacific Rim? Is it some of the Sons of Anarchy stuff?
People have created amazing sculptures about characters that I played. The most recent one was somebody did a Clay Morrow from Sons of Anarchy and gave it to me at a Comic-Con I was at a few weeks ago. And it was magnificent. I mean, hundreds of hours of work went into this. And that's kind of like trippy to know that somebody was that touched by something that you had something to do with, where they were willing to make that kind of an investment. But I've seen a lot of stuff. Probably Hellboy and Sons were the things that inspired people to do those things that inspire. Let's hope they'll be making Judge Pernell Harris dolls.
Let's hope you're getting a cut of it.
Yeah, well, I already got enough riches to, I'm good. I'm good, man. There's a line in one of the episodes. Erykah Badu says to me, "How are you this morning?" And I say, "I'm better than I deserve." And that could have been written by me.
Well, there you have it. Ron Perlman, thank you so much. The show, Hand of God, Amazon, instant video. If you have the Prime, great. But if you don't have the Prime, you can still go and you can still download it, still stream it. Enjoy the show. The pilot is out right now, and the show comes out in the early fall. Thank you so much, Ron.
Pleasure.
It's Eric Nagel at San Diego Comic-Con.
It's our buddy Randy from NECA Toys. Randy, how are you?
I'm good, Eric. Good to see you, man.
We're on the floor here. We're at the, are you officially a pavilion or are you an exhibit? What is this?
An extravaganza, cavalcade, whatever.
Right. Well, you've got a big portion of the floor right here where we're at. Wall to wall, just display cases of all kinds of cool stuff, products that existed. We're right in front of the stuff that's brand new and exclusive for the con right now. What do we got here?
All right, we have a classic Planet of the Apes 3-pack that you can only get here, not available anywhere else. We have Rambo from The Force of Freedom, which was the Rambo cartoon in the 80s. So it's packaged just like the old toy packaging from 1986. We have a clear Ambush Predator.
Which I think, out of all of this here, is probably the coolest thing that you have.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Clear figures are always cool, and then he's got like a vac metal electroplated mask, which is pretty neat, really stands out. We have a glow-in-the-dark endoskeleton from Terminator 2 based on an old Kenner toy.
Which is cool because it's half clear for the glow-in-the-dark and half metal.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of an homage or a nod back to a classic toy from '93. And then the hottest exclusive we have so far, Friday the 13th, 35th anniversary 2-pack with Pamela Voorhees and her son Jason from the very first Friday the 13th movie.
Now, just so you know, if you haven't gone to, it's NECAonline.com, right? If you haven't gone there to see what this figure is, Jason is not just your regular kid. It's like the kid was dead and they pulled him out of the ocean and threw a camp t-shirt on him.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Mongoloid Jason that's drowned and has the moss and swamp crap all over him. And he has little swim shorts and a Camp Crystal Lake t-shirt that you can take on or off. And it's pretty sick. First time it's ever been done as an action figure after 35 years.
I don't think I've ever seen the actual figure of the child sold anywhere before.
Yeah, this is a first. Yeah.
So if you're a big horror fan, you definitely want to get for the, what was it, 35 years you said?
35 years
35th anniversary for Friday the 13th. The mom holding an axe, wearing a typical old mom sweater.
Yes. No mom jeans on her, but some little khakis or dickies or something she's got on there.
It's like something Aunt Jackie would wear in Roseanne.
Yes, yeah, very much.
With the flannel collar coming out the top. All these figures right now that we've just talked about, these exclusive things, it is Comic-Con weekend for San Diego, but if you go to NECAonline.com right now, you can actually purchase these items off the website since you're not here at the con.
That's right. Yeah, we set aside a select amount for people who can't travel to San Diego, can't make the convention, and they can purchase them through links on NECA Online, or they can go to our Facebook. The links are there as well. We put them up tonight when the show opens, so it's timed like, while the con's going on, go on. It's like a flash sale. Here's your chance. If you're at home and you want this stuff, you can buy it. Only difference is you're paying shipping, but you don't have to leave the comfort of your house or your tablet and, order it on up.
To stand on lines like we're doing here, like a couple of schmucks trying to get everything, and then being told, oh, we're capping the line about 50 people ahead of you, so the line's closed.
Yeah, it's absurd. Like I said, I work in this business and I can't get half the crap I want. It's unbelievable.
Preview night, which is the Wednesday night before the con actually officially opens, and it allows people with special passes and permission to come in and on the floor, buy exclusives, buy all kinds of cool stuff before it really starts getting busy. Funko, 30 minutes into the floor being open, closed and sent everybody away. They said there was a huge line. People were waiting online to buy this stuff. Said, we're closed for the night. We'll be open again tomorrow. Half an hour.
That's insane. I mean, you can't even get in the door into their booth in that amount of time.
Right. But you guys do this thing where you have the exclusives and you can sell it online. Why don't more companies do this?
I think some do. I don't know about them specifically. Some of them do. There is backlash, though. Like, we talked about it a little bit the last time I was on your show, on air, is that there's some fans that are like militant, that are like, if you're selling it at home and you can get it at other places besides the con, then it's not a con exclusive anymore. And it's like, well, no matter what, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You can't please everyone. Like, we take a small amount, a small percentage to offer up to the diehards that follow us on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and say, hey, I really want this, but I can't go. So it's like, okay, we'll put aside a few hundred that we put up during the show. Order it now, and they know. And we've got guys that year after year thank us. Hey, I could get it. At the same time, we've got guys that are like, this is bullshit. You shouldn't be selling it online. It's not a San Diego exclusive then if I can sit in my house and get it. So, I mean, maybe they, look more at that side of it. But I feel like no matter what, you're never going to please everyone. And if you had to cap your line 30 minutes into the show, that's bullshit too,
Is that a matter of your product is too popular and you don't have enough product to sell? Or is that just arrogance saying, well, we're going to close for now even though we got all this stuff and save the rest for tomorrow?
I mean, I do think a lot of companies create a false demand, and especially in terms of the lines and things that I want. I know like Hasbro and Mattel, you have to wait on a line somewhere else to get a ticket or a pass that gives you permission to come back and wait on the other line. So it's like creating that sense of urgency or demand or supply versus demand that maybe or maybe doesn't exist as much as they want you to perceive it does. Because you can watch, we see some of these stock rooms where guys are walking out with bags full of stuff. So they've got the inventory. There's a good example.
I was just on, what were we on, the Mattel line? We were on the Mattel line looking for something for Matt's kid. And they were like, okay, they got it, we're online. And then, of course, they capped it off and said, oh, try again tomorrow. Here's a ticket. So if you come early enough, we'll try to get you in on the front of the line, which is bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. And that's how they do it. It's gotten worse this year because certain retailers open up pop-up shops that are downtown. They get rent for like a week or something and open up a little shop. You can't walk into that shop off the street, though. You have to come here and win or find like a token that allows you permission to then enter that building to buy stuff. So you got to like hunt for something, go off-site to buy it.
I don't know what kind of atmosphere they're creating. I guess it's a fun treasure hunt or something for people who really are just coming here to enjoy the con and to buy things. But if you want a product bad enough, if you like the figures that these people are putting out, or artwork, or a T-shirt, or whatever it is, and have to go through all that bullshit just to get the permission to buy the thing, is it even worth it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, why jump through all the hoops? Plus, you only have a certain amount of hours here. You want to see some of the programming. You want to walk around and see the vendors. You want to attend a panel. You can't waste all your freaking time standing in a line. We try to make it as easy for people as possible. In and out, come here and get what you want to get. And again, the online option for those that are at home. So, I mean, we try to make it easy so you can enjoy your time at the convention, because who wants to waste all their time standing on a line?
Agreed. Now, before we go here, with your exclusive stuff, you have the stickers on them that say NECA NECA Convention Exclusive to 2015. Does it cost more to get the permission to get the yellow sticker that says San Diego Comic-Con on it, like some of these others who have the exclusives?
It doesn't cost more, and we've used that sticker in the past. It's the first year we haven't. You just have to get everything pre-approved by Comic-Con, the organization, first. But since our items technically aren't just being sold here, since we have that option to buy them online and stuff like that, we decided to just make it convention exclusive. And also, if we didn't sell out and we do another show, like say New York in October, whatever inventory or stock remains, we bring to New York. So it's not technically a San Diego exclusive anymore, it's also a New York. So it's kind of like blanket convention exclusive, but the way things are going, I don't think we're gonna have anything left for October.
There's a certain company, I don't want to give their name out, but they make vinyl toys, and I do like to frequent their stores and what have you and buy their products. But they do the same thing. They'll have the tickets here, the stickers that say San Diego Comic-Con, and then in October when New York Comic-Con comes around, you still see those stickers on there, but they're saying, oh, it's the exclusive, but it says San Diego.
Yeah, see, that they shouldn't do, and San Diego like really comes after people who do that. So if they knew of it or were aware of it, they would probably, hear from San Diego about using their trademarks and their logos at certainly a show that's not San Diego organized or sponsored or anything like that.
Right. Well, thus why I didn't give out the name, because I still would like to buy the product. These are the exclusives. Go to NECAonline.com. You can buy this stuff throughout the course of the convention. You're also hearing it here on the radio, so if you're here in San Diego, come over to the NECA Pavilion here and pick some of these things up. Like I told you, the Ambush Predator, it's clear, but with the metal weapons and the metal mask is amazing. The Pamela Voorhees with Jason as a little mongoloid kid, but with a fresh, crisp Camp Crystal Lake t-shirt. You can definitely get that as well. Randy, before we go, what do you have coming in the future outside of the exclusives?
We have some pretty good licensing announcements that we talked about a little on your show. We're doing Hateful Eight with Quentin Tarantino at Christmas, which is going to be amazing. Announcing for the first time here, we have the license for Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is a new TV series with Bruce Campbell. Starts around Halloween time on Starz. We're going to be doing that. And we have a whole bunch of really cool video game figures that unfortunately I can't disclose yet, but it's some really classic 80s stuff, some of the best games we all played growing up that I hope we'll reveal soon and maybe be back on the show to talk about, and maybe we'll give away some of the very first samples on your show.
I'm going to take a guess. Is it Bubble Bobble?
It is not Bubble Bobble.
All right, then I am out of guesses. Randy, as always, thank you so much for coming on. You've always been very cool to the show. We love talking to you. NECAonline.com. Go to the website. You can buy the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives while they're here on the website there. But then as of Monday, they're gone. You can't buy them anymore. If you're here in San Diego, definitely stop by the NECA Pavilion and get it. Randy, thank you so much, man.
Thank you for coming by. Always a pleasure.
It's Eric Nagel at San Diego Comic-Con.